Hello, welcome to episode 60 of the Zeens and Roger Crochet Vlogcast. 60. That's a lot of episodes. Hello, welcome. Come and join me. Get your crochet, knitting, sewing, cup of tea, and we'll talk about some crochet stuff. Hello, how are you? You alright? I am Rosina. I am a crochet designer coming to you from the southwest of the UK on a very sunny but a little bit windy day, with the threat of showers. I'm not sure. There's grey skies, blue skies. Who knows? It's a lottery. The risk is high because I've got my laundry on the line. I don't know. Let's crack on, shall we? I hope you're well. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for all your lovely comments last episode. I did a giveaway, so I'll be doing that in a minute. I'll reveal the random winner of last episode's giveaway. Yes, thank you to all of those who have grabbed themselves a free copy of the Claudia cowl, which I talked about last episode and gave away a code for, which runs out in a month's time. I don't know why I did such a long kind of freebie thing. I did whatever, it's fine. 173 people have got themselves a free copy of Claudia, which is lovely, and I've seen a couple being made already. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then you have to watch last week's episode. It was a fortnight ago. So thank you to all of those, and please do make them, and please do put your finished projects on Ravelry, even if it's one of my other designs, not just Claudia. Bung up all your finished projects and works in progress on Ravelry and attach them to the pattern so that other people can see what you are up to. Thanks for that. Right, okay, where are we? Don't forget to like, subscribe and thumbs up, blah blah blah. And if you fancy, you could join Patreon. I have got a lot of sorting out to do with that. So far I've not offered any tiers or rewards for Patreon, but I'm going to change that. There will be tiers coming soon. It's a job I've got to do, and I've got to pull my finger out. There's lots of lists I've got hanging around. They need things ticking off those lists. Right. They sure do. And thank you very much. Sorry about it. Thank you very much to the Secret Yarnery who gave me a shout out on her Saturday shout out. That's Krista. She's got a huge following, so you probably know who she is already. So it was lovely to be mentioned on her podcast, so thank you very much. And I haven't crocheted a penis yet. I don't think I will, not really. But who knows what my future holds. Right. First things first. I showed you these last week, but they're now finished. They've got little wings on. These wings are sewn down. These wings are flapping about. This one's mid-flight, this one's having a rest. These are now a tutorial on YouTube, so I'm sure you'll see it somewhere nearby you right now on your computer screen or whatever it is, whatever device you're on. The owl tutorial is up. There's a written pattern on my blog and it's all updated and nice and fresh. This took me a very long, fly away pretties, it took me a very long time to do, so please, even if you click and watch, even if you click and watch for half an hour, just click it and like and do whatever just to get it out there. Let's get it viewed a shed ton to have made it worth my while, because I love those critters, I really do. So I would like it if other people saw them too and liked them as much as I did. They represent the very beginning of my crochet journey. Blah. I don't know what else to say. I always substitute the word journey for adventure, but even that's got pukey undertones. I don't know what So go and check it out. As usual, the links will be below in the description box, so it's fine. Or at least the link to the blog, which has all the info on it. The camera keeps stopping and I don't know why. It's getting right on my nerves. I can't remember what I was going to say now. Oh yeah. I think that intro was probably a little bit speedy, but I've got not very much time, so I'm trying to squeeze it all in. Sorry about that. I'll tell you what I'll do whilst I'm chatting. Let me make a pom-pom. May as well. I've got a couple of finished objects and a couple of works in progress. Here's my pom-pom maker, by the way. It's just a bit of plywood, and then you wrap your yarn around it, and that's how I make my pom-poms. Is this a distraction? I don't know how many times to wrap it round either. So I finished my Maya shawl that's by Helder Panageri, which was in issue 109 of Inside Crochet magazine. So we're talking, I think that issue came out at the beginning of the year, and I was reminded that I wanted to make it. So, oh, God, we're just skew, budge that up. And so it is finished. I will show it to you. I've done the other end of the sofa there. I've been a bit stupid, it's not close enough to me. All done. It's pretty awesome. I blocked it yesterday. I think probably I could have got away without blocking it, but I just wanted to try and change the shape a little bit, because it was a very deep V, and I wanted to try and, if I stretched it this way, it would become slightly shallower, and it has a little bit, but we're still talking deep V, which is fine for a nice shawl like this. But as a scarf, you've got your point quite low. I sewed my tassels on this morning after I unpinned it. What I'll do, if I remember, is that in the show notes I will put a picture of it blocking, so you can see how I blocked it. Because someone did ask me the other day how I block my stuff. Would I do a separate video on it? I'm not going to do that, because there are lots of videos about how to block, and it would probably take quite a while, because there's lots of different methods I use depending on what the yarn is on the project. But for this one, because it's very fine and flyweight, I actually used knitting needles as blocking wires, because I don't have blocking wires, and I'm not going to pay 18 quid for blocking wires when you can just use knitting needles. I'll put a picture in, as I said. So I have blocked this one, even though I could have got away with it. The draper's nice now. You can see those stripes beautifully. I used a mohair and a merino 4-ply as the pattern suggested. The mohair is by Beehive Yarns, and the merino 4-ply is Rusty Ferret, both of which I bought from Yarndale last year. So this yarn that I used is pretty much 1 year old, because I bought it at Yarndale last year, and Yarndale this year is happening day after tomorrow. Saturday, and it is the day after tomorrow. So it's my Yarndale tribute. I'm not going this year because I can't afford it. Can't afford the flights, can't afford to spend money. Because I always get carried away and end up spending a good couple of £100 on yarn that takes me a year to use. I've still got loads from last year as well, and there's no point stocking up anymore. Plus, if I am rich enough in a couple of months, there is a lovely yarn festival down this way in Totnes called Stitch Fest Southwest, which happens at the beginning of November. I'll just go to that for my yarn festival fix. Do you think that's a pom-pom? pom-pom yet. One of the things that is the only thing that bothers me about not going to Yarn Day is just missing out on the social side of it. It's horrible. That FOMO is horrid. But you can't have everything you want all the time. You just can't. So I will live vicariously through everybody else that goes. I've just snipped off a length of yarn and now I'm going to tie it around the middle and hopefully not snap the yarn. I really like it. Worked up very quickly. And even though it's all like UK, DC, US, SC, it worked up beautifully fast. What can I say about it? I prefer a shallower triangle shawl. It's true. But, I mean, this is just so pretty. So pretty. Definitely a wearer for sure. I think mine is I think mine's a few rows longer than the pattern to try and make it bigger because it was coming up quite small. Now that it's blocked, it's perfectly fine. But at the time, like when I did it as the pattern, it was pretty short. So I've added on more rows, as many as I could, and then when I got somewhere near the end, I started breaking the rules, and instead of cause the last few rows you work both strands of yarn together, and then I decided that actually I wanted to do that all the way around because I liked the look of it. I liked the thickness of the two of them together, and I thought it might be quite nice to have that all the way around. But by that time I was running out of yarn, but I wasn't going to frog it back because it's mohair. So I managed to do 3 rounds all the way around, which isn't a lot, but it just means that I've got a bit more of an edging. I have to say I didn't need it, but I like it and I wanted it. And I can never leave things alone. So yes, that is the Maya shawl. And a lovely shawl it is, and I think it's going to get a lot of wear because it's because of the simplicity of it. I've been wearing, I will wear that a lot. This morning I was wearing my Hinterland because it's getting a bit chilly now, and then the other night I wore Release the Hounds out to the pub. So all my shawls are getting a wear. They are getting worn, I should say. So I'm still trying to do this plom plom, tiddly on pom pom. The pom pom is for this hat. This is a corner to corner hat, and it's a prototype that I made ages ago. I wanted to make a prototype. I don't normally do prototypes, but I had to be absolutely sure because I wanted the real deal to fit perfectly. And that's this one on the front cover of Inside Crochet magazine, which is the latest issue, 118. And it's got like it's got a nice zigzaggy pattern on it. So I didn't want to make that and go through the rigmarole of all those colour changes and then it not work and have to rejig. So I did this as my prototype. It's exactly the same as the other one, same yarn that I just happened to have in stash, which was great. And when I sent it in, I got a funny message. I can't remember what the message said, but it made me wonder. It made me go, that sounds like a nice message. That also sounds slightly suspicious, like they plan to do something with it. What do they plan to do with it that's not just in the magazine? I know. Perhaps it'll go on the front cover. And lo and behold, it did. So that's marvellous. I'm well chuffed. I can tell you that much. There's some beautiful projects in this autumn issue. Beautiful. I think this is my favourite by Theodora Goes Wild. The shaping and the stitch pattern on this is beautiful. It's just so nice. I think I want to make it. The hat is called 7 Summits because there's 7 peaks, and the 7 Summits is a famous thing with people that climb mountains or something. Basically it refers to the tallest mountain on each of the continents or something. I'm not really, what's the word, qualified to say. But there is a chart in the magazine, but I've noticed that the first 2 columns on the right have been chopped off. So they're probably going to do like an errata thing in a future magazine and have it certainly available, the full chart available. If you contact Inside Crochet Magazine, they will have the full chart. I also have the full chart. If you needed it, let me know. It'd just mean that it'd probably be too small, and also it won't uniformly fit. The zigs, the peaks will be incorrect. So I've done it so that it just is a continuous zigzag of 7 peaks all the way around, and they're supposed to be perfectly around. With the 2 columns missing, it's not going to happen. So if you want it, give me a shout. If you've got the magazine, that is. I'm not just going to give it to you willy-nilly. Yes, it's lovely, isn't it? Very nice hat. And the pom-pom that's on it was from a previous free issue of Inside Crochet Magazine, so I used that. And then that's not all, because I'm in it twice, because I've done a shawl as well. This is called the Foragers shawl, and it's made with Fibre Company yarn. The Fibre Company Aran Moore yarn, 80% wool, 10% cashmere, 10% silk. It was lovely to use. The other one, the hat, is Millimere. Sorry. I've no idea where I am because the camera keeps cutting off and I'm getting annoyed with it very much. Did I tell you that the hat was Millimere Sport? I think I've tried to say it about 4 times. So this is an Aran weight shawl, very quick to make up, super fast. Somebody's already made it. Somebody's already made a hat as well, so fast. Because I gave them the chart. Very nice yarn too, very soft. But the one thing that annoys me about this shawl is that my original pattern was the main body of the shawl was going to be the mustard, and then I was going to use like the grey and the red in the border, and I wish I'd stuck with it, but I had a last minute panic and I thought, no, that's going to be too much mustard. So I swapped it round. I said, oh no, can you order more of that one? More of the sort of the grey browny colour, and I'll use that as the main body. And they agreed, said yeah, sure. But if I'd stuck with the mustard, I think it would have made more of an impact. So can somebody make it with loads of mustard, please, just so I can see what it looks like. And plus the border now looks like Gryffindor colours, and that annoys me because I'm Ravenclaw. Not that I actually hold much truck with Harry Potter stuff anymore, because I'm over Harry Potter. Not that it wasn't good, I loved it at the time, but we're talking nearly 20 years ago, so you know, I read it in like 2001, so that's when I first read the first lot. Not all of them would come out then. Anyway, well, it's not important. I can't remember what I was going to say about this other than that it's a lovely shawl to make, very simple and very nice. And there. Go Gryffindor. I think all of that mustard. Can you imagine all of that mustard and then red and grey there? I should have stuck with that really. Never mind. Never mind. So indecisive. And there are other terrific patterns which I love. This one, Ali made this one. Ali is homemade at my place. Alessandra, your surname I can't pronounce, I'm sorry. Homemade at my place. It's got her written all over it. It's brilliant. I love it. I love it. It's a beautiful scarf. Look at that. There's loads of nice things in here. Loads of them. Socks, kids jumper, that bag, a little girl's dress. That's nice. Got no one to make it for, so I won't. But it's nice. I don't think there's anything else I can say about this magazine other than I love it, as you know. Lots of nice things. It's nice. There's me, just in case you missed it the first time. My design is on the front. Very proud of that one. I shall keep it in good nick so that it does not get ruined. Whilst I snip my pom-pom, which I started, and we'll do the giveaway winner if it doesn't cut off. The winner gets this set, crochet hook stitch markers, and this magazine, which is issue 11 of Your Crochet Knitting Magazine. I've got a pattern. I have chosen, before I hit record, I chose a random winner from last episode's comments. That is AJ Boff. I asked everybody if they were knitters, crocheters or both, and they crochet and they're a machine knitter, which I thought was quite interesting. Machine knitter. Somebody was talking about machine knitting the other day. How they used to make jumpers in an evening. Incredible. AJ Boff, please get in touch with me and do so in the next 2 weeks. I'll redraw otherwise, because I want to send this off. I want to send this off to you. I need to get snipping on my pom-poms. It's a bit, this needs a big old trim, but essentially it will be like that. Oh, that's nice. Super. Right. I don't have any other finished objects, but I've got a couple works in progress. Let me reach down. So last episode, this was just 2 skeins of yarn. There's a big old grey cloud out there now. I've caked up the knit crate yarn I had, which I think is a double knit. Although, to be honest with you, it's sort of like a sport weight. It's not a 4-ply. It doesn't look like a double knit. It's in between. So I'm working on Encanto. I've done this much so far, so not very much. Not very much at all. And I'm using my own hook that I made. I made most of it. I've broken the rules as per, and I've missed out the chain rows, and I've just gone on to the double trebles. I think the US trebles, so UK double trebles. So I'm just doing that bit of the pattern for now, and then I'll see. I might do some of the chain areas further or not, but I actually think that this stitch is super and I love it. So this is the Encanto wrap by Claudia of Crochet Luna. And in real life it's a nicer purple than this. This is coming out a little bit bluey and like a bit dull, but actually in real life it's lovely. Because this is bigger, fatter than a 4-ply, it's quite wide, and so I've taken about 20 stitches off the pattern. But I've ensured that it is still the correct number of multiples. If I want to put those chains in, I can. But this is just, it's a pleasure to work on actually. It's lovely and mindful. It's a lovely drape, and it's going to be my picky uppy putty downy sort of project in between other things, because I am working on a shawl commission at the moment, which is going to be a stunner. Really happy with it. I'm about a quarter of the way through that. It's going to be a good one. And I found a new sweater weather, so I'm going to work on a sweater. Sorry. So much time pressure, and also stupid camera pressure. Ages and ages ago, I bought 5 or 6 balls of this stuff, which is Stylecraft Life Decay, and it's a grey with a nep in it. It was to make my own design. I think even recently I was talking about having only this. I was talking about sweater quantities of yarn, and I didn't have any. This was the only stuff I've got a sweater quantity of, and it was for my own design. I've binned off that design because I'm not happy with it. I will do a future incarnation of it, but I'm just not ready. So I'm going to use that yarn to make somebody else's pattern, because I want a jumper, but I don't want to have to use the brain power to come up with my own one. I think that's acceptable. So I found like the perfect pattern that I absolutely love. I've been waiting for this, been looking for this. It is the Betty Boyfriend sweater by Talia Talia Designs. Hang on, I've forgotten instantly. Talia Crochet Creations, and it's part of a set of like 30 patterns, and you can buy all 30 for like a bundle price. But actually the Betty sweater was the Betty Boyfriend sweater was the only pattern I actually knew I wanted to make. All the other ones I could do without. So I went straight to the source and bought the pattern from the designer. Because I wasn't going to make any of the other things. But I want this jumper. I want it. So I'm going to make it. It's high up there on my list. I think as soon as that commission is finished, and as soon as I finish my other jumper, this is going to be the next thing I make. I've got my yarn, I've got the pattern, I am ready. So I keep expecting it to say stopped filming, and for my heart to sink. It's not doing it right now. So I shall continue bravely soldiering on. But I think this yarn will be top notch. I'll put a picture in the show notes of the original design, and I think you'll agree that it's the perfect fit. I have to go in a minute. People are walking past to go and get the kids from school, and it'll be my turn to leave in a sec. So I'll plough through. I've bought another couple of patterns recently, but I'll talk about those maybe when I'm getting ready to make them. Oh, let me remind you that it's getting close to Halloween. We've got about a month, and I've got that spider tutorial. So go and check it out. It's in my free patterns page. It's a lovely spider, and I noticed that the views had picked up and the hits on the blog had picked up. So people must be thinking about spiders. So it's just a reminder that it's there. I wanted to tell you. What's next? Somebody asked me the other day what my favourite music was. I like everything. I like all sorts. But the latest purchase is the new Chemical Brothers album. I've listened to it only a couple of times, but I like it. It's a winner. So I like a lot of dance music, but I like everything pretty much. I don't like the screechy, shouty heavy metal. But that's about it. You know, stuff where they make their throat bleed because it's so rough and hoarse sounding. I don't like that. But most of the stuff goes. Kinesis sweater by We Are Knitters. I have completed the back section. This is the back. I think it'll fit. And I'm this far into the front, so I'm not doing too bad. Isn't it funny how it looks on the back? You do one single row of a different colour and yet it comes with 2 lines on that side and 1 line on that side. And that's just from doing 1 row of knitting. I just can't fathom how those stitches go together. I just can't. But anyway, doing all right, doing okay with the knitting, and I'm enjoying it, and so far so good. There is a mistake in it a little bit, but I'm not going to let it bother me. It's fine. I think that's it. I've got this idea about collecting every single whip, like all over the house, get all those whips in a big pile, and then like one episode to talk through them all. I'm not sure I'm brave enough to do it just yet, but there will come a time when I'll do it, I'm pretty sure. I've got a question, and that is, how much would you pay for a pattern? How much do you think is a good price to pay for a pattern? I'm umming and ahhing about whether to increase the prices of individual patterns, and but then have like bundles and stuff to buy as options. I'm just dithering at the minute. It's just an idea. I might keep it all the same. I don't know, but I was interested in your opinion about it. What you think is too little, what you think is too much, and all that jazz. But it also might have an impact on things like how I do Patreon as well, like how much I charge for tiers, because I will be offering patterns with Patreon if I can work out how to do it. It's just finding the time. But I've got about 2 weeks, I think, before my job starts. So I better make those 2 weeks count. I will try and keep up with the podcast, even when I'm working. Other people can manage it, so the hell can I. I can do it. But things like, it's all those little things you don't anticipate. Like I had an email from Etsy going, you can't call that shawl the Lorax shawl, it's a copyright infringement, so we've taken it down. So Lorax is not available on Etsy at the minute, so I'll have to rename it to something else. Just on Etsy, I don't know, everywhere maybe. It's just like, it's not a big deal. Just get over it. Yeah, Doctor's Use doesn't like it, so they chucked it off Etsy. But at the moment it's still on Ravelry and presumably Lovecraft. I guess Doctor's Use only keeps tabs on Etsy and nowhere else. Don't know. I'm so sorry if that's really itty bitty, but the amount of times this camera has cut off today, and I don't know what. I might need to invest in another memory card thing, or I am tempted to just record on my phone. I don't know. Not sure what to do. But I'm going to go get the boys from school. I've got to go now. Sorry, that's it. There was so much more I was going to tell you about too, but you've caught me at a bad time. I'm so sorry. I apologise if I've annoyed you with my wishy-washy episode by trying to squeeze you in between other stuff. It's terrible of me, I know. Yeah, there was going to be some other stuff, but it'll have to be another day. Still looking at those clouds going, my washing's going to get wet. I'll try and have some good stuff to show you next time, so it won't be a waste of your time. Right, I've got to go because who knows when this will cut out again, and who knows when I will be judged to be a bad mother for leaving my children at school. It's like 3:26 and the school finishes at 3:30. I'm on the same road as the school, but even so. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Bye.